Oh, all right. All right, 1 minute. I'm gonna comb my hair, make sure I'm all set. All right. Let's hope this is running well enough. All right. Whew. For those of you that watch this late, that might be thinking, why the heck is this idiot combing his hair before the stream even starts? It's my way of thanking God for my dermatologists because I am very grateful that going to the dermatologist, they were able to more or less say, guess what, Paul? You probably will be able to keep your hair the rest of your life. Of course, you have to add the probably in there because no one is guaranteed to have hair forever. Even if you have a perfect hairline your whole life, you may end up losing it for other reasons, like a fire or if you have chemotherapy, stuff like that. Life happens. Um, but do not ever, ever, ever expect me to cut my hair unless it's chemo. That's pretty much the only thing I can think of. But yeah, I know this is sudden. My live streams are always going to be sudden. I'm sorry, guys, but you're just going to have to get used to that. I have a really weird living setup, and I just don't have the energy to be the only one talking for too long on a regular basis. I tried one time, didn't work. So we will see what happens once my living situation gets better. But for now, welcome in. Um, this is not going to be anything super fancy. It's just going to be me talking to you guys as casually as I would if you were to meet me in real life. Two of my audience members actually have met me in real life. Esabelle and Tiramisu are two people that started out as just regular commenters on this YouTube channel. And we got along so well that we eventually arranged for in-person meetups. I've met Tyria once, and I've met Esabelle 3 times, not including all the times that we video chatted. If that were the case, then we'd have met a whole bunch more times. But that's what I love about this YouTube channel is I don't think I have any degree of fakeness. Like just about everything that comes out of my mouth is like authentically me. And I'm just so thankful that you guys have been you haven't been trying to encourage me to be fake or anything like that. And even though I know that every YouTuber is going to get some degree of criticism no matter what they do, I really appreciate that you guys have been going pretty easy on me. It's great to have such an accommodating audience. Let me just make sure that this is running well because I'm in my basement. The stream running well. All right. Hopefully, you guys will let me know if it's lagging or anything like that. I don't remember if I've ever streamed in the basement like this before. So if it's a slideshow, if it's an absolute disaster, now's your chance. Oh, sorry, guys. I've been playing Persona 3 for a while, so I'm a bit stiff. Hopefully, you can be patient with me as I try to get into a good sitting position. But for those of you that have never seen me before, I'm Paul. I am probably the world's weirdest person in terms of I don't typically follow the crowd like at all. I can't even think of a single thing in my life right now that's a result of, well, everyone else is doing it, so therefore I'm doing it. I'm a diehard practicing Catholic. The word Catholic in the title is not just fancy schmancy. Um, like, you know how some people, they'll say that they're Catholic, but their life choices don't really reflect that? Like, I'm the type of person that I really want people to. I don't want to brag about my faith per se, but I do want people to know that I do take it very seriously. And my experiences with Catholicism and all these trips that I've been able to go on and chaperone, they've completely changed my worldview. And I am just so blessed that I've been able to go on so many. And I've been able to see so many signs and wonders. And heck, I haven't even seen some of the best signs and wonders out there. And I still believe this much. Even after I've had stuff like my miraculous healing on my back and shoulders, I remember my sister was on a missionary trip and she was telling me about all these things that happened over where she was. And that was phenomenal because there were like sightings of a statue of Jesus moving its head or crying, or people with like withered arms that are not withered anymore, for lack of a better word. It's amazing how God does so many modern miracles and somehow it hasn't converted the world. And I guess that's just because everyone has, I guess, like a different definition for how they realize something is true. And I believe in psychology, we call that a logical framework. But what that means is that every single person has their own way of reasoning how they figure something out. So to one person, this might make sense, but to another, it doesn't because all their different frameworks are completely different. That's why you might get some people believing and they're 100% insisting the world is flat because according to A and B, that equals C. And the rest of us, we use other types of reasoning. And that is why you have so many disagreements in the world, is just people cannot decide on what is objectively logical and what is objectively sensible. So also for those of you that don't know, this is what I call my energy gauge. When this runs out, the stream runs out. So be thankful that I'm not too tired yet. I'm not expecting anyone to show up. Honestly, I may end up just talking to myself all night, and I'm cool with that because I have been by myself almost all day. I did finally, there was one eventful thing that happened to me today, and that's that I finally got my certification for CPR and first aid. So hopefully, if I am chaperoning something or if I'm at the gym and there's a problem, hopefully I can address it. Or at the very least, I can prolong the amount of time that people can be alive, because the people doing the training course were saying a lot of things like, hey, there's really only a 25% chance of someone with cardiac arrest going back to their normal lives, even if you do everything we say properly. So that definitely helped me feel like not to have too much of a savior complex of being like, okay, I did what I could. Some people, they're just due to meet the Lord no matter what you do. But we believe that at any point in someone's life, you could make a difference. So even on your deathbed, there have been last words that have been like some of the most famous sayings ever. Now, I don't know if that's definitive church doctrine. Like, is that why the church tries to prolong a life, why it tries to bring people back from the dead? Because resuscitation is a real thing. That's just my guess. But I do truly believe that that's definitely something that happens, even if it's not a doctrine, that someone's last words could end up being an inspiration. I remember my mom told me a story about how she watched her brother die right in front of her and the entire family. And as soon as they had finished like talking about like, oh, hey, he's at peace, they turned around and his body had been completely healed. And I feel like, okay, maybe that's not the best example, but like his son had come up to him and had asked for forgiveness. And this man was about to die like a couple of minutes later. And he smiled at his son. And because he could barely talk, he was going through a stroke. And that's what ended up changing my cousin's entire outlook on his father. Was in the last couple of minutes of his life, all my uncle could do was smile. And that smile changed a life. So that's why I say, if I ever die, but then get resuscitated back to life, I am going to thank God for tearing me out of heaven temporarily, because I want to be able to make a difference in people's lives. And if that means that I can share my experiences of being in heaven and telling people about the glory so that they can believe in it, then heck yeah, That's why I think God allows near-death experiences, is he wants the skeptics to be able to have someone they can trust. Someone that can say, okay, I'm pretty sure this person wouldn't just make that stuff up. I especially love it when they get stories of, say, a blind person that goes to heaven, and when that blind person is in heaven, he or she temporarily has vision so good during that experience that he or she can describe things with so much detail that even a person with 20/20 vision wouldn't be able to see that good. Like, I'm pretty sure the story I heard was something like there was a little girl who was blind since birth, so she'd never been able to see anything. And she was describing the water droplets on a flower's leaf. And people were like, dude, not even people with 20/20 vision can see that. That is insane. And I've also heard that like people have better peripheral vision after they die. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever really thought about it, but try just looking at anything but without moving your eyes. It's a lot harder than you think. Like, what you can see clearly actually accounts for only about 3% of your actual vision. And from what I've heard from people with near death experiences, like everything that the eyeball can detect is visible. So like this right here looks like a mess to me right now, but for people in heaven, they would be able to see that just as clearly as they'd be able to see right in front of them. And I just think that's so cool that heaven like essentially turns us into superheroes. Like we get all these cool powers. Like we get to breathe better and walk better, and our bodies get to be like the best versions of themselves. And I'm really hoping that God will like whatever form he decides to allow me to take in heaven, that it'll be something that allows people to recognize me. And I'm pretty sure that's not a definitive like, oh God, if you don't do that to me, I'm going to be so mad. But I've been having this thought for about, I'd like to say about 10 or 12 years, that I might not necessarily have the longest life. And I don't know if that's a premonition or if it's just me thinking worst case scenario. But I just feel like whenever God decides that it's time for me to leave the earth, um, I want to make sure that I'm doing the best I can. In fact, I'm pretty sure one time someone asked me, like, Paul, what would you like on your gravestone? And I said, make it in the shape of a question mark and have the engraving, he tried his best. I don't know who's going to still be alive by then. Probably my nieces and nephews. Yeah, I would imagine my nieces and nephews are probably going to be alive long enough to be able to carve out my gravestone. But honestly, I don't really think about the future too much. I think about annual traditions quite a lot. But as far as complete unknowns, I have almost no frame of reference. I'm the type of guy that I prefer to think about what's coming up next week as opposed to next year. So if you ask me like, where do you see yourself in 10 years? I'm like, I have no clue what's going on in 10 years. Heck, I have no clue what's even going on next month. Like, I literally have no idea how Christmas is going to turn out. I have no clue what the weather is going to be like. The only thing I can say for certain is that I'm going to be hard at work on my end of year videos, and I hope you guys really like them. So, no one is answering me about is the stream running well or not. So that's making me wonder. Let me try getting a little bit closer to the stairs just in case that is causing problems. Let me get the chair out of the way. All right. That actually is a much better background now that I think about it. I don't know why I don't do this all the time. Whoa. No, that's not. No, that's even worse. All right. There we go. That's much better. All right. Okay. So there is one person here, according to YouTube, but in the past, whenever I try to say hi to the one person here, that person ends up leaving. So hope I don't. Oh, there's my water. Let me get that real quick. Yep. See, I knew it. I knew it. But you know what? I would much rather have a small audience than a super big one. I love being able to just have nice, cozy conversations with you guys and to really feel like it's a cool, I don't know, kind of hangout of sorts. Again, my legs are killing me, so I hope you guys will forgive me for all the shifting. I really did not prepare for this at all. I'm so sorry. Um, I just figured, you know what? I have the basement to myself, which is a rarity. I just finished CPR training, so I'm feeling all like get my motivational speeches in. I got my Holy Fire shirt. You'd be surprised how many people have no clue what this shirt is supposed to mean. Like, literally every single person I have ever met just thinks that it's some vague, like, oh, you're talking about the holy fire of the Holy Spirit and like Jesus puts our hearts on fire. It's like, I mean, you're not wrong, but that's not the origin of the t shirt. The real reason I wear this t shirt is because I was very blessed to be a chaperone. I say that lightly because there wasn't really much I needed to do besides head counting, but I was able to be a chaperone at the first ever national middle school conference. It was it was all right. I mean, it definitely could have been worse. It certainly wasn't the kind of conference that I would have wanted to prioritize. Like, I enjoyed myself so much more at the high school conferences that I chaperoned because they actually gave me responsibilities. Um, they would actually they would give each adult an assignment in addition to the usual like head counting, making sure the teens know where they're supposed to be, etc. So my first couple of years that I chaperoned, I did night watch because I had so much energy because I was a night owl back then. And as I got older, I started to realize I'm starting to need my sleep a lot more. So then that evolved to I did attendance for the workshops. And one workshop speaker, I remember this vividly. It was in 2020, right before the pandemic hit, so right in time. I I was the first person to show up at the training meeting, and the person running it said, "Oh, well, if you've done this before, then you can just take your pick of whichever module you want." So I looked at all the different subjects, and one of them said, uh, "What was it? Mental health awareness." And I said, "Oh, I know all about that. Let's do this." And so I took down some names of the teenagers coming in, made sure they were all in the right module, said, "Oh, let me see your name tag," that kind of stuff. And I said to the teacher, "Hey, you know what? I've had experience with public speaking. So if you want me to say any words to the teenagers, that'd be cool." And the teacher said, "Oh, yeah, I'll keep that in mind." And around the end of the speech, yeah, she kind of threw me for a loop because she said, "Yes, I think I am going to take you up on it. So can you give a 3-minute speech?" And I told the teenagers, "I know your adults have been telling you this whole time that you need to put away your phones, but I'm going to give you permission to film this once, just in case you still need to remember it." Now, I don't know if any of those teenagers remember the events of that conference. I mean, I barely remember the events of that conference, but I remember enough where I can say that it was a great final. It was a great finale to that series of conferences because I remember those being some of the best, most life changing moments of my life. And it was very sad when COVID managed to shut the whole thing down. And I never really did a major chaperoning thing after that. In fact, I don't think I did anything related to chaperoning until I moved to this current house. I was helping out with something that I was about to chaperone, but then that ended up being canceled. So for the grand finale of major chaperoning at my old house, being able to give a speech to approximately a fifth of all the teenagers there, I felt pretty proud of myself. And I'm honored that God used me to hopefully change some lives. Yeah, I'm getting the feeling that this live stream is not performing well because usually I get more people here than this. Is my internet really that bad? It says it's only. Sometimes that can be deceiving. I know it just dropped there. All right, let me wait a couple of minutes, wave my hand a bit. Okay. Can you hear me? Yeah, okay. Microphone's okay. Oh well, guess this will just be a video if it doesn't work out well. Yeah, I've had a really blessed life. I don't know how I got onto all this, but yeah, my life hasn't been perfect. No one's has, but I'm very fortunate that I have had, for the most part, a pretty good social circle most of my life. I feel like if you don't have a good social circle, then you're screwed. Like anyone that thinks they don't need friends, that they don't need people in their lives, yeah, I'm pretty sure you're not going to last very long. You might say that you like it, but you'll probably end up hurting more people because you're taking it all on your own and you only have so much brain storage. But if you have people around you, they can offer you different perspectives. And if everyone had the same brain and everyone was asked to go it alone, God wouldn't have created so many people with diverse personalities. So that's why I think that no person, even if they're in the celibate life, should go it alone. And that's why I think it's great to be able to have the friends that I do and even the friends that I used to have. Sure, it's sad that I don't get to talk to them as much anymore. But you can't erase time capsules. And that's something that has actually gotten me through the past couple of weeks is realizing that. You have to realize that you can't change the past. And to some people, that's really rough. And they say, oh, I have so many regrets. I did so many terrible things. Woe is me. God hates me. And my way of getting around that is I say, well, yeah, we all make mistakes, but what about good things that you did? You also can't change the past for goodness. So, yeah, sure, maybe there are plenty upon plenty of people that hate my guts now. But there was one point in time when they didn't. And at that point in time, they said, Paul, I really, really appreciate all the great words that you are saying to me. And whenever I feel like I'm just an absolute wreck and I just can't seem to keep someone around, I just tell myself, you can't erase time capsules. At one point in time, the night I got it right happened. Sure, many of those people may not talk to me again, but what matters is at one point in time, I made a difference. At one point in time, the Holy Spirit was just really encouraging me, like, go the extra distance, go and talk to that group of 12 girls, even though back then you were terrified of them. And don't try to think too hard, just do it. And because I did it, it created a time capsule that wouldn't have happened if it hadn't been for me being willing to take the risk. Nowadays, it's so easy for us to do the comfortable thing. And boy, do I know it. I am like the king of comfort. Why do you think I've been doing YouTube for so long? But sometimes in life, God asks us to do stuff that we're not too proud of, or not, I shouldn't say not too proud of, that we're afraid of doing. He might want us to do a vocation in life that we weren't expecting. The amount of priests that thought that they wanted nothing to do with the religious life is kind of insane. I know that back, I don't want to say exactly when, but a long time ago, I had a girlfriend, and that relationship lasted for approximately a year and a half. And I thought to myself that this was my destiny, and this is what God wanted me to do. And my destiny was I was going to be a father and a husband, and I was going to move away, and I was going to live this very happy life with this girl. And it did not happen. And I did date one other girl since then, but that girl broke up with me after only 4 days. And I know that there have been some people, especially girls that are only platonically interested in me for some reason, saying, "Oh, don't you worry, Paul. You're a charming guy. You'll find the right girl eventually." And I'm just like, is that wishful thinking, or is that genuinely what God is saying? Because I think we're in this era where a person being single for the Lord is frowned upon. And the idea that you could be happy not having a significant other is just so foreign. Like the amount of people that ask if like if I'm getting along really well with a female friend of mine in a YouTube video, and they're like, "Ooh, do you like her?" And it's like, why can't I just get along with her and just be friends? Like, is that really such a foregone thing? Like in this progressive era? It's, oh man, you just got me laughing there, guys. You guys haven't even said anything, so I got myself laughing. This progressive era, where just about everything is being redefined, where the term man and woman is being redefined. Somehow, despite all of that, we have not made any progress in the movement of a guy and a girl getting along, but not thinking about sex. Just thinking, hey, it's cool to hang out, it's cool to laugh and play video games together and hang out, but we don't necessarily need all the romance stuff. Baffles me how people still seem to expect that. And as someone who has a lot of friends of both genders, I don't really. I forgot where I was going with that, but I do hope that more people will um, appreciate opposite gender platonic friendships. I have been talking to myself for almost a half hour, so I don't know if it's the basement or the fact that I didn't time this or what, but I don't know if I have the energy to do that, guys. I don't know if it's the time of day or what, but oh, it's tiring just talking to oneself. So let me just double check, see if maybe my friends are online and that's what's keeping everyone. It is true that one of my friends is streaming, but not the friend I was thinking of. All right. I think I'm going to call it here. But for those of you that watch it late, I hope you were able to learn something from my perspectives. I don't know if I said anything that'll change your life, but at least I tried. So I hope you all have a wonderful day. And until the next time, remember to keep the faith, stay epic, and God bless. Bye.